take a breath, cause Nicki been fucking with me hardcore. God damn, that's my fucking jam. They know who I jam, they know who I am. Bitch, bounce, homie, smoke an ounce. Fuck it, make it count. Where I'm going, that's why I be flowing. I'm already knowing the life that I'm living. Don't know what I'm giving. It's so hard not to.
And we're back for Week 3 NFL football, brought to you by Overtime Live Sports Bet Radio and your sponsors at TeamSpadesPoker.com, where you can book your poker party today. Last week we had great results. We only missed 3 games out of the 15-game schedule, and we ended up getting the Packers game on Monday night accurate, getting it at -11, and we went ahead and blew them out. So we had a pretty good percentage last week, and it allowed us to put together some really easy parlays. So we're going to get another shot this week and see if we can put up those same type of numbers. So we're going to do this kind of fast, try to get it less than 30 minutes. We're going to start it off with the Carolina-Houston game. Carolina looking like one of the better teams in the league right now. The line opened up at 4.5. It's actually moved to 8, with the Houston quarterback being downgraded to the 3rd string. So even though Houston's at home, I expect Carolina to get this done on the road. DJ Moore, McCaffrey, Sam Darnold are all looking pretty good and healthy. Carolina's got the best passing and rushing D in the league right now statistically, so we're going to take Carolina and give up the 8 points. Next game, Arizona's going to Jacksonville. Jacksonville looks terrible. They're on this 2-game losing streak to start off Lawrence's career. Jacksonville is the 5th worst passing team in the league, so maybe Trevor Lawrence isn't as good as everyone thought he would based on what other rookie quarterbacks have done. Arizona, on the other side, is one of the better teams. Although they have thrown 5 interceptions, they're going to be giving up 7 points in this game, and we're going to go ahead and take Arizona -7. It opened up at actually 9.5, and it's obviously being shifted for some reason. I guess 9.5 was a little bit too much. I still think if I can get 10 points over Jacksonville, I see this being a blowout. So we're going to take Arizona -7. Next game on the schedule, Indianapolis Colts are going to Tennessee. Tennessee, losing that last game, that first game, and then winning that last game is really going to make a big difference on how people look at them. That first game could have been a fluke. They're coming into this game as 5-point favorites. It's actually moved to 5.5. We haven't seen much out of the Colts yet. We thought we'd see a better performance from the running game and the defense, and we haven't seen that yet. Tennessee, obviously one of the better built teams in the league. We saw Julio Jones have a breakout performance, Derrick Henry. We saw what they were capable of doing when they're playing at their best, So I'm going to go ahead and take Tennessee -5. Wentz won't be playing. He managed to sprain both of his ankles somehow, magically. Only Carson Wentz can do this. Tennessee's completely healthy. They played the Cards in Week 1, so they have an excuse for that first loss. But that battle against Seahawks on the road showed that they're really one of the elite teams in that division and conference. So we're going to go ahead and take Tennessee and give up the 5.5. Keep it under a touchdown. We'll take Tennessee. And next game is going to be Baltimore going to Detroit. Baltimore -9. I'm gonna take Baltimore and give up those 9 points. They showed that they could beat somebody when they beat Kansas City in that battle. But it's a tough one, man. Detroit at home. I mean, they played a half of a game against the Packers before falling apart. So I would say that Baltimore is equally as good as Green Bay. So I think Baltimore gets this done on the road. We just get to see how bad Detroit really is. Next game is going to be Washington. Washington's going on the road to Buffalo. Buffalo obviously got it together last week for that shutout performance against Miami, but this is going to be a different story against this Washington team that nobody knows a lot about. So Washington getting the 9 points is where we're going to take, because the Bills D massacred Miami. Tua didn't get to play most of the game. They had a shitload of sacks. So obviously it was an offensive line issue. And Washington played well. They got nothing to lose. That 9 points is a little too much. I'm going to take Washington plus the 9 on the road in Buffalo. Next game is going to be New Orleans against New England. This is going to be a tough one. I'm going to take New England -3, probably money line it. Jameis showed his true colors. He showed he's still good at throwing interceptions. And I don't know. I don't see New Orleans being a good road team this year without the leader that Drew Brees was. I don't see it. I just don't see it. I think they're going to lose a lot of games. New England's the favorite right now, giving them the 3 points. I'm going to go ahead and take New England money line and see if Mac Jones can show us what he's really about. So we're going to take New England at home with the money line. Next game's going to be the LA Chargers going into the Chiefs. Chiefs -6.5 right now. It actually opened up at 8. If we keep it under 7, we'll be happy to take the Chiefs. I think the Chargers have a lot of growth to do. Herbert's still looking very young at quarterback. You know, the Chiefs at home after a loss, I don't see it happening. Not with Mahomes and everybody healthy. So we're gonna see what happens. Chargers the third worst run D in the league, so maybe the Chiefs can open it up. But the Chiefs are the worst run defensive in the league, giving up 7 touchdowns this year so far. So we're going to see what happens in that game. And Chargers allowed one passing touchdown this year so far. So Chargers have a pretty good defense. It's going to be a test for the Chiefs. It's really going to be in Herbert's hands to see if he can be the leader of this team. So we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and get on to the next 3 games. Let's start it off with the Atlanta-New York game.
Glamps in the matrix. Your life turning flipping pages. All the real talent behind them cages. And real love from them mama faces.
And we're back. Overtime Live Sports Bet Radio. Coming at you live, Gulf Coast, talking about the football we don't. Destination inside one of these office buildings is going to be the place. I'll just pick up the check. So let's see what happens.
Dog or whatever, but they got to stay in their side by side to pick up or whatever.
Thank you guys for tuning back in. Make sure you check out our sponsors at teamspacepoker.com, where you can book your poker party today, become a professional pro overnight, and get staked to play in tournaments across the world, become a high roller, and live the dream life, going from luxury casino to casino, making a lot of money, and becoming the superstar you were meant to be. So make sure you join teamspacepoker.com on YouTube. Follow the Facebook group for Overtime Live Sports Bet Radio. Join Overtime Live Sports Bet Radio on YouTube. Make sure you like, subscribe, and notify, and tune in for our weekly shows and shenanigans that we may get into. So let's get back into this football. Atlanta going to New York. It's going to be a tough game for Matty Ice. He's looking horrible as we all expected. Both games coming in on a 2-game losing streak, and the Giants are the favorite. It's only a field goal, so you might need those points. I'm going to take Atlanta, take those 3 points. I think Daniel Jones, like Justin Herbert, are still looking very young at this period in their career. I can't potentially say that they're living up to the expectations that we thought that they would. So, struggling Atlanta team, man, in every way, going to the Giants, you know. We're going to need those 3 points bad. Hopefully Atlanta can win outright. Atlanta's got 8 passing touchdowns versus defense, so they're getting the job done, but they are not running the ball at all. And that's just going to be a one-sided team. I think Giants have what it takes. They blew their chance at their first win on that Thursday night game, so this could be the redemption game, but we're going to take the veteran, Matty Ice, Calvin Ridley, and see what Kyle Pitts can do. And take those 3 points. On the road in New York, we're going to take Atlanta. Next game, Chicago versus Cleveland. Cleveland coming in minus 7.5. We're going to take Chicago plus the 8 points. Cleveland looks lazy. Probably be a 7-point game, but we're going to go ahead and take Chicago, who's been playing better. They actually opened up as the favorite. The Bears look good versus, a 3-interception Joe Burrow at home, but they couldn't get 3 interceptions in the Week 1 loss, versus Stafford. So it's going to be a whole different story. We're going to see Browns are just rushing the ball, man. Mayfield actually has 1 touchdown on the year, and they lead the league with 7 rushing touchdowns. So all they're doing in Cleveland is running that ball and keeping it out of Mayfield's hand so you don't make any mistakes, but that's obviously not going to get you winning too many games. Next game's going to be Cincinnati-Pittsburgh, big-time rivalry game. Big Ben off of a loss. I expect him to come out hungry and aggressive. We're going to take Pittsburgh, give up the 7 points. The Cincinnati team looks like they're struggling, even though they are stacked with talent. Cincinnati's just not a good team. Burrow looks scared. Pittsburgh at home. Healthy Pittsburgh, we're going to take Pittsburgh and give up that full touchdown. It actually looks like the line is moving down, So as long as it stays under that full touchdown, I'll be happy to go with Pittsburgh and give up those points. Next game is going to be Miami going to Las Vegas to play the Raiders, who I still call the Oakland Raiders. And they are undefeated, you know. They're opened it up at a 1.5 spread. It's actually moved to 3.5, so people are loading up on Oakland in this game. Tua, it will not be playing, so I'm surprised that the spread's not more. But I could be mistaken, or else maybe that is why the spread is so small. But the Las Vegas defense is elite. You know, Matt Crosby is definitely a candidate for Defensive Player of the Year. And them being at home, I think that Las Vegas will win this game, whether Tua plays or not. And I think it'd be safe to give up the 4 points, or as long as it's under a touchdown. Keep it at 4 would be great. Next game on the schedule is a very interesting game. Denver against the Jets. Denver's giving up double-digit points. You know, this Denver team is surprising people. I think they're getting a little bit too much credit here. Obviously, the Jets quarterback has been struggling. He has a lot of work to do in a place where they aren't used to winning, so I don't know who's going to be the one to tell him how to win. And he's leading the league in interceptions right now. You know, they scored 20 points in their first 2 games. I think the Jets are equally as bad as we thought they were. I would love to see that Denver line go under 10 points. So it's a really tough pick. I know Denver is capable of blowing them out if it gets out of hand. So I'm going to go ahead and take Denver minus the 10.5. Maybe if I could buy a point and get that under 10 points, that'd be great. So we're going to take Denver and give up the points. Next game, Tampa Bay is going to L.A. L.A. is going to be the favorite. Although Tampa Bay opened up, L.A. has actually moved ahead. And I think that's going to go back and forth up until kickoff time. You know, they're both on a 2-game winning streak, so it's going to be tough. It's going to be one of the major matchups of the week. You know, it's going to be a road battle for Tampa Bay to see how good Tom Brady really is, because he looks like he's the best ever. I mean, he is the best ever, but he looks like he's playing better than he ever has. He's got 9 passing touchdowns on the year. And this is going to be one of those matchups to determine who's really the best in the conference. So we're going to go ahead and take Tampa Bay money line on the road. And I'm going to ride with Tom, man, because there's something magical about him, especially this season. Next game is going to be Seattle going to Minnesota. Big time game. Russell Wilson, he's not going to lose 2 games in a row. He's going to get his revenge, you know, especially after a loss at home. Minnesota's 0-2 in 2 really close games. So obviously it could be a coaching issue, but there's a problem where they're keeping these games too close anyway. So I want to say that this is a lock. I see Seattle coming out playing their best, blowing out Minnesota. Seattle minus less than 3 would be great. It's going to be jumping back and forth. Right now it's actually at minus 1.5. So Seattle minus 3 sounds good. And I expect Seattle to blow them out. Next game is going to be Green Bay, San Fran. This is going to be an interesting one. Green Band is Green Band. That's what the name of the game is, Green Band. But Green Bay is going to be really coming out with a lot to prove. They had a chip on their shoulder after that first loss. Came back and showed you they were still an all-pro team in that second dominant blowout in Detroit. Now they're going on the road. San Fran's 2-0, man. Somehow, some way. I think I lost betting on them in both of the first 2 weeks, and they're coming into this game as a favorite. So they're coming up right now at a 3.5 favorite. I'm going to take Green Bay, and I'm actually going to money line it and get that plus and get that extra money added to the pot, because I think Green Bay is going to win outright. I don't need any points in this game. So we're going to see how that game goes. Last game on the schedule is the Monday night game. Philly-Dallas. Dallas, man. Dallas minus 4 sounds reasonable. Philly cost me. I don't think that they're as good as I thought they were, even though I think Jalen Hurts is as good as I thought he was. Dallas is as good as I thought they were, and they're gonna win some games this year, man. Dak's looking like an elite quarterback. As long as they stay healthy, he's got more weapons than he's ever had before. Dual threat running back situation since Elliott's been struggling. And I think Dallas gets this done at home on Monday Night Football. Minus 4, that sounds great. So I'll give up those 4 points. And that's going to wrap it up for Week 3 action. Thank you guys for tuning in. Last week we missed 3 games. This week I'm going to see if we can miss none. We're going to put in this 15-game parlay, and we're going to try to get rich. So good luck to you guys. Be sure to check us out at teamspacepoker.com, Overtime Live Sports Bet Radio.